The Freedom of Information Bill faced rough sailing in deliberations in the House of Representatives. Camille Alemia tells us why in a report in depth.
Article 3, Section 7 of the Constitution clearly states that it is the right of every Filipino to have access to public documents or information. Despite that expressed right, proposed laws that guarantee this access never made it to several congressional sessions. The revised Senate version, Senate Bill 3208, or the People's Ownership of Government Information Bill, is lucky to have hurdled the committee level. The bill advocates transparency by ensuring maximum disclosure of information relating to the government. Under this bill, the public can have access to information on government transactions, minutes of meetings, among others, as long as the data will not compromise national security. Malacanang had been criticized for not tagging the FOI as a priority measure. Instead of doing that, the palace opted to submit its own version to both chambers of Congress. The House version has a unique feature, the right to reply clause. Right to reply grants persons criticized in and by media the equal opportunity to defend themselves against allegations and accusations. Malacanang's version, on the other hand, proposes the creation of an information commission. Senator Gregorio Honasan is the Senate sponsor of the bill. He doesn't see the need for the proposed information commission.
Transparency is a fundamental or a core principle among democratic societies. An informed citizenry is an empowered citizenry. Tinanggal natin yon because this is another layer, a bureaucratic layer that will defeat the purpose of the bill.
Honasan clarifies that although enshrined in the Constitution, the right to information has limitations.
Pero pag right to life na ang pinag-uusapan, lalo na yung life of a nation, kaya nga national security, di ba, foreign policy, private contracts, mga ongoing court proceedings, records of proceedings in executive session.
Honasan is confident the bill will be passed despite strong reservations from the House. A possible bone of contention can be gleaned from the House's refusal to release the statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth of its members, despite being required by law. Attorney Nep Malaluan of the Right to Know Right Now coalition is concerned with the bill's snail pace at the House. The only solution, he believes, is for President Aquino to ask his allies to make it move.
Sa karanasan din natin ay napaka-importante ng papel ng executive. Ay talagang sa tingin namin kailangan na may extra push ang Malacanang din dito, kagaya ng ginagawa niya dun sa ilang mga panukalang batas na talagang sinusuportahan nila. And we believe that it should be given the same level of prioritization and importance by the executive to be consistent with its policy direction of good governance, transparency, accountability.
The public has the right to know. Whether it will have political ramifications or will only be of practical application, that right remains a right that the citizen must exercise. If informed properly, Filipinos will then have the power to own information and take part in the decision-making, which is what democracy is all about. Camille Alemia, Solar News.
The government insists China's decision to remove its vessels in the disputed Scarborough Shoal is a result of positive negotiations between the two countries. Carol Ramoran has more on that story.
Well, I don't know of any...
Foreign Affairs spokesman Raul Hernandez reiterates that China's decision to pull out its fishing vessels from the lagoon in Scarborough is a product of peaceful negotiations between the two countries. This despite China's denial and claim that the reason for pulling out their fishermen was the bad weather. The deployment of Chinese rescue and salvage vessel Nanhaiju 115 was announced at the Chinese Embassy in Manila's website on Sunday. The vessel is set to provide assistance to their fishermen that are still in Scarborough and help them get to shelter. Earlier, Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario said that China has made a commitment to pull out their ships in the lagoon, which Chinese Embassy spokesman Zhang Hua denied. Del Rosario announced on Saturday morning President Aquino's decision to pull out Philippine ships in Scarborough due to the bad weather in the area, citing the importance of the safety of the Coast Guard and Navy. A re-evaluation whether to send them back to Scarborough was set to be made once the weather gets better. Foreign Affairs spokesman Raul Hernandez clarified that the agreement between China and the Philippines is to have all vessels in Scarborough exit the lagoon.
Well, with the announcement of the Chinese today, we are hoping that all of the fishing vessels will be out of the lagoon. Well, it depends on when they will be able to pull it out.
On June 5, the Philippines' Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources ship and the 2 Chinese government vessels exited the lagoon, leaving more than 20 Chinese fishing boats inside. The standoff continued outside the shoal, with the Philippines' BIFAR and Coast Guard vessels and China's 7 government ships until Friday, when President Aquino ordered Philippine vessels to return to port due to the bad weather. Hernandez says that consultations between the Philippines and China are still ongoing to secure a diplomatic solution to the dispute. Carol Ramoran, Solar News.
Authorities created a local crisis management committee to expedite the search for the Jordanian journalist and his 2 Filipino crew who had been reportedly missing in the jungles of Jolo, Sulu. Miguel Ortilla filed this report.
Sulu officials stepped up the search for Jordanian journalist Bakir Atiani and 2 Filipino crew who went missing in the jungles of Jolo. Sulu Governor Abdu Sakurtan created a crisis management team which gathers all intelligence reports and plans possible search and rescue operations for Atiani and his Filipino crew Ramelito Vela and Roland Letriro. Though Malacanang has already confirmed that the 3 are with the Abu Sayyaf bandit group, police does not confirm this information unless the abductors make a ransom demand. Based in Al Arabiya TV's Indonesian bureau, Atiani is a veteran journalist who was able to interview Osama bin Laden before the 9/11 attack in the US. Atiani, who arrived in Sulu on June 11, first interviewed Governor Sakurtan. On June 12, him and his 2 Filipino crew were said to have left their hotel room early in the morning to interview ASG leader Nasser Igkasan. The crisis committee has yet to verify reports that Atiani and his crew were held by former barangay captain Absara Kaunayan. Kaunayan is known to be associated with ASG commander Tahil Sali. Tahil Sali is the son of rebel commander Usman Sali. Usman Sali murdered General Teodulfo Bautista in 1977. General Bautista is the father of incumbent Army Chief General Emmanuel Bautista. Intelligence reports indicate that Atiani and his 2 companions were last seen with their supposed abductors at the borders of Paticol and Talipao, Sulu, a known stronghold of the Abu Sayyaf. Miguel Ortilla, Solar News.
Big players Petron and Shell Philippines will roll back the prices of fuel products to reflect cheaper oil rates in the world market. By midnight, Petron will cut 1 peso and 20 centavos from the per liter rate of Blaze 100, XCS, and Extra. Pinoy and regular gasoline prices will be cheaper by 1 peso and 10 centavos per liter. Rates of Turbo Diesel and Diesel Max will be cut by 50 centavos per liter. Kerosene prices will roll back by 35 centavos per liter. Shell and Sea Oil followed suit by matching Petron's fuel price adjustments. Up next, sports analysts Kinito Henson and Ronnie Nathaniels talk about boxing champ Manny Pacquiao's career live. This and more when Solar Network News returns.